wife's name. She's worth her weight in gold.
I used to be a Cornelius. I got rid of that because people are like, how do you spell that? So.
All right.
Wait,
All right, so we are live again, right?
correct.
Excellent. Then, council, I would like to make a motion that we appoint, Stephen Martinecco. Gosh, I'm not gonna say that right. To our superintendent of public works at a step F for compensation.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Perfect. Great timing on muting any conversation on that. Just kidding. Excellent. Steve, welcome aboard. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Quite an
Thank you,
asset.
councilors. The pleasure to serve, Howard.
Now, I'm assuming on that, I should have made a motion though, actually with the effective date. For the effective date on that one, are we planning to make it immediate or January 1st? What's going to be easiest for payroll on that one? And this
Yeah,
year?
so actually how our payroll system works, it doesn't matter.
Okay, then we can assume that's an immediate appointment then.
Yes.
Wonderful. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Just in time for even more floodwaters.
And they just keep getting higher.
I watched the news report before coming here and they're saying it's gonna taper off minus the strong winds tonight, which then paranoids me because we have trees that are in saturated soil.
Soil, yeah.
And I already saw the one up at Barnsey Park that's tipped over, so
Yeah, we got that all chopped down, but,
Yes, quick.
on the lookout.
I literally only saw that just a few days ago, so
Yeah, it's all chopped up and I think, some of it's even gone now, so it's,
leave it out long enough, someone's gonna.
someone's gonna grab it. That was the idea.
Okay, wonderful. With that, let's go ahead and continue on with our regular agenda. I don't think we're expecting too many more to show up anyhow. Before we move on though, from the consent agenda, counselors, do we have anything you want pulled up for regular discussion? We'll start with Counselor Michelle,
No, nothing.
Counselor Steininger,
I don't have anything.
Counselor Zani.
No, maybe.
Okay, and just note, agenda topic, consent agenda E, that it's the wrong year. I will correct it when we read it out, but it should be 2026, 2027. So just keep that in mind. With that, let's kick it off with the fiscal year 2024, 2025 audit report. Actually, do we have them online yet?
No.
Okay, then we'll just move on to the next topic and we'll just circle back around. Other agency reports.
And he is not on.
I know, but Chief Carmen sent me a message the other day. He was going to be unable to attend this evening, but he did give me a quick write-up to read into record and to give an update for council. So with that, I'll go ahead and read what I got from him. Mayor, blah, 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 blah. Okay, they have a total of 752 calls of the year, as of the year today, 12/8/2025. They had 48 calls for service in November, which was a slow month for them in terms of an incident responses. The district is preparing for public education. It will be at the North Marion Intermediate School on Friday, December 12th, delivering fire prevention messages to each grade. We will be doing this in conjunction with the Aurora Fire District. Really great to hear that they're actually working with another agency on that. They had a great turnout for the Christmas tree lighting, which they did. I am estimating we were in the 200 people in attendance at the fire station. Canned food drive on Saturday went very good too. We raised an entire 6-foot by 14-foot trailer full of food, more than last year. They're still giving out and installing smoke detectors, and please direct anyone who needs one their way so they can get them taken care of. So generally speaking, they did do well. For those who didn't get a chance to attend the Christmas lighting, by far in my 9 years of being in attendance of those, I think that was the most proud of I've seen it. So definitely a win-win having them up at Rivers Park. I had a chance to talk with Jim Terwilliger as well. He's the pastor of North Marion Foursquare. He's been wanting the city to move it from Centennial Park up there since the day I stepped behind this desk. But for some reason, we just could never make it happen, just never found the time. This year, we did get it done. And again, I thank the volunteers, the fire district, North Marion Fellowship, et cetera, for making it happen this year. But a fantastic turnout, a fantastic time down at the fire hall. And in fact, the high school band's done wonderful as well. So great time all around. So that was Chief Carmen's update. Moving on, I'm just checking up on top.
We do have Glenn Burns as the auditor. He is.
Okay, perfect. Now let's circle back around for the fiscal year 2024-2025 audit report. And we will hand it over to our presenter. My apologies, we did start a little bit ahead of schedule because our executive session finished much earlier than we had thought. Can you hear us?
Oh, I can. I'm sorry. Am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
All right. Well, good thing I logged in. It's all right. I appreciate you letting me present remotely. The weather outside, as you all know, is not the greatest, and not having to be on I-5 in this weather is a plus. So I appreciate it.
You're more than, we're happy you're able to give us the report, and your report was quite entertaining to read. Very, very detailed.
I'm not sure I've heard an audit report referred to as entertaining, but I'll take that. So I'll just jump right in. I'll be pretty brief, to be honest, because I don't have a whole lot to cover. First thing, I'd like to start off just by saying thank you to Sean and her staff. We were extremely happy with how well prepared they were when we came in to do the audit. First year engagements can always be challenging at times, but Sean had everything in great order. Her staff were extremely good to work with. We were in and out with no issues. So again, thank you for them doing what they did to make things easier for us. So I guess just jumping right in, the first thing that you guys probably want to know is, okay, how'd we do? In a nutshell, we are offering what is referred to as an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements for June of 25. Also known as a clean opinion, which is what you're looking for. What it basically means is, in doing the tests of all the various account balances and transaction cycles and all the things that we're required to look at under both professional standards and Oregon law, we didn't have any issues or come across any problems that would require us under our standards to qualify or modify the opinion in any way. So again, that's what you're looking for. Overall, the city is in very, very sound financial shape. When you look in, jump into the financials and the financial statement pages themselves, starting on page 4, this is the government-wide presentation of the city, which basically shows the two major groupings of your account types. Those are those that are governmental activities and those that are business type. In other words, your water, your sewer, those funds and activities which are intended to operate more like a for-profit business and are supposed to be, for all intents and purposes, self-funding, which means they're supposed to be able to cover their operating expenses and everything through user charges. So as you can see, the city ended the year June 30 with about just under $3 million of unrestricted cash and another almost 4.2 of restricted cash. Obviously, the restricted cash is earmarked for the things that are noted down below in the detail of net position. It's those dollars that the city has received that are restricted in one form or fashion for specific projects or other things like streets and grant projects and system development charges and those sorts of things. So all in all, very healthy balance sheet. Again, you're looking at just a little over $7 million of total assets and only about $48,000 of current liabilities. And you have to take into account that, these financial statements are prepared as they have been in the past on what's called the modified cash basis of accounting, which is different from generally accepted accounting principles in that the items that are reflected here are assets and liabilities that either start or end with cash transactions. So that's why you're not seeing things like your PERS liabilities and those things on the books that you would see in GAAP basis statements. But for a city of your size, this is pretty typical because it's what management understands. It's what I think you as the council understand, and more importantly, it's what the citizens understand. So the financial statements themselves are prepared on this basis for specific reasons. When we look at the next page, which is page 5, this is the statement of activities, which is really just a fancy name for the income statement. It basically shows how you did from an income or loss perspective. So if you look at that third line item from the bottom, which is titled change in net position, you'll see that for the city as a whole, you had a loss, if you will, of about $1.6 million. But you have to take into account that included in that number is non-cash depreciation expense that is taken on. Actually, I take that back. You guys aren't recording capital assets. So what that basically results in is when you look at your cash receipts and your cash disbursements, and again, this is at the government-wide level, taking into account some differences between your budgetary base of accounting, you were in the red about $1.6 million. But that, in our opinion, shouldn't be an area of concern because it's in line with what you budgeted, and you're still in a very, very strong cash position. One of the things that we look at when we're looking at pretty much any of our audit clients, especially smaller entities, because cash flow tends to be a bit more important sometimes in smaller entities. We look at not just the cash balances, but also the ending fund balances at the end of the fiscal year, in this case, June 30 of 25. And we look at how much carryover fund balance do you have going into the next fiscal year. So on page 6, if you look at the general fund, which is obviously the primary operating fund of the district, you can see that you had total fund balances of about 1.626 million. The unassigned and unrestricted amount is about 1,623,000 or just under $624,000, which again, for the city of your size, is a pretty healthy carryover. And what we typically do when we're evaluating that carryover balance is look to the total operating expenses of your primary operating fund on the budget basis of accounting. So for the year ended June of 25, your total general fund expenditures was just a little over $2.2 million. And we take that annual amount and we divide it by 12 to come up with an average what we call burn rate or expense amount that, on average you would incur sort of every month, and then divide your unrestricted fund balance by that number to see how many months worth of operating expenses you have in your carryover balances. What we prefer to see, and this is not anything that you will find in any standard setting board or anything, it's just a sort of an analysis that we've developed over the last 30 years or so of doing this, is we like to see a minimum of 3 months worth of carryover. We prefer to see, about 6 months of carryover. And the reasons behind that are, as you all know, one of the primary funding sources of the city is property taxes, and those dollars don't start rolling in, obviously, until we get into mid to late November. So you got to have enough cash carryover to get you through kind of the lean summer months, if you will. Your unrestricted fund balance in your general fund at June 30, 25 equates to just slightly less than 9 months worth of carryover. So again, from a financial health standpoint, I think you guys are in very, very solid shape. In addition to looking at the finances and the numbers as part of the financial audit, as I'm sure you know, the state also requires that we look at a handful of compliance related things. They're referred to as the Oregon minimum standards, and we're required under Oregon statutes to look at those things and come to an opinion as to whether the city was in compliance with those. And it's things like, did you have your funds deposited in the right types of accounts? Did you adopt your budgets the way you were supposed to? Do you have insurance coverage? Were you in compliance with public contracting statutes and all of those sorts of things? And I'm happy to report that for the fiscal year ended June, there were no non-compliance issues whatsoever. We literally, when we were on site, we were very, very pleasantly surprised in the condition of the records, how well organized everything was. I mean, we kind of told Sean that we wanted to kind of farm her out to train some of our other clients, because she does such a good job in taking care of the finances and managing things. So overall, in a nutshell, I think from a financial standpoint, the city is in very solid shape. You have very good staff, and you should count yourselves lucky, because not every small municipality can say that you've got as solid a crew as you do. That's about really all I have to cover, unless you guys have some specific questions regarding the financials themselves.
I'll look across council here. Councilor Zani, any questions?
No.
Councilor Stein?
Questions?
Councilor Godley?
I do not.
Councilor Pichelle?
No questions.
Okay, I think, one of the benefits we have on our council is, Administrator Wade has done a fantastic job of keeping us updated and, current on our financial areas, what we need to, tighten up and how we need to move forward. So I think generally speaking, none of the report surprises us. We're pleasantly surprised that it all played out like it should. We do know that we need to work on our internal controls the best we can for a small city that our size. And we'll put an action plan in place for that. But, outside of that, we appreciate your efforts and time.
And I think for the staffing levels that you have, the controls that you have in place are pretty solid. They're about as good as you're gonna get without hiring additional staff in the finance area. And, in a perfect world, as we had this conversation with Sean when we were on site, in a perfect world, she would have an accounting manager and, let's say, a payroll clerk and a receivables clerk, and neither of those individuals would cross over in either person's territory to allow for true segregation of duties. But to be honest, given the city size, that would be overkill, especially based on what it would cost the city to have that level of staffing. So given the level of staffing that you have, which is pretty consistent with other cities of your size, your controls are still pretty solid. We literally did not see any breakdowns in the control policies that you have, because if we had, those would have been reported in the other report that you got. So obviously our recommendation would be, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Keep doing what you're doing. And as long as you as the council are involved in the monthly activities and doing your due diligence and in managing and oversight and review and approval, as long as you are doing that, you guys should be good to go.
Excellent. Okay, any parting questions from council? Okay, any questions from staff that we might want to bring up?
No questions for me, Mayor and Council. I do want to address, one thing that the, auditor stated about, the negative 1.6 million-ish. So part of what's that is related to, so most of the expenditures for our water project and wastewater project are reimbursable under our grants. So there was a delay in making those reimbursement requests. So I expect that to be much, much better this fiscal year.
And you kept a good job of keeping us informed about that delay and the corrective actions you guys have taken to get it fixed. Okay, then I think if there's no other questions or concerns, I think we can move on from this agenda topic. Thank you very much for dialing in and providing the report out to us and your services for the city.
All right, thank you very much. And if you guys have any questions or whatever, feel free to reach out. And if not, we'll be in touch come springtime to kind of get ready and planning for next year's engagement.
There you go. Every year, like clockwork.
Okay, thanks again, everyone. Have a good evening.
Okay, and I saw a Michael join. Is that Chief Carmen by chance? I don't know.
Just ask him to do that. Is that Michael Carmen? Evidently,
Maybe not.
I thought his always said Michael Carter.
yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Cause as, Councilor Yonley just joined us as well. Yeah, we kicked off at 6 for the executive, so you came in at a great time though. So, let me see, we already had given I gave the report out for the fire district because Chief Carmen was unable to attend this evening, which means we'll move on to system development charges methodology update with, Mr. Donovan.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors. Glad to be back. This is a follow-up, kind of PowerPoint, and this will put the word to this.
Yeah, you'll have to turn it on and let me share my screen.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the report, I was like, yes, I remember Steve. He likes his charts.
Let's see.
There's a button.
We do have a copy of the
Yeah.
PowerPoint in front of you.
There's a
Because
button on the side.
I know for us, it's kind of hard to look at them.
Yeah, there should be a button.
Oh,
When we hire people here, we make sure they can use that.
Yeah.
Okay, can you pass the pen?
Is it turned on?
There you go.
Never works for me either. but-
There we go. Good evening. Little minor point, we talked about that, $1 million, $1.6 million of negative, and the timing difference between the grant receipt and the expenditure. We've accounted for that in your rates also, so that's also been taken into account, so we're ready. This is the next logical progression now that we've got the rates done, we're gonna go into the system development charges, and, I'm gonna have a very short presentation for you tonight, a colorful PowerPoint. On the city's website is a report, and we're gonna talk about the statutory compliance that we've got to go on with the SDCs. So let's just hop into this, and I will be quick. As part of the engagement for the SDCs, we talked about the reason for the update, and we'll talk about that in a second. One of the things that's not included in this report is an update of the transportation SDCs, and we'll talk about why we didn't do the SDC transportation. Then we'll review the overall picture of what we're recommending versus what your rates are now. And then I'll give you specific details on water, wastewater, transportation parks, and then the schedule for what's gonna happen next. So why we're reviewing the SDCs, according to your code, you should be reviewing the SDC methodologies every 5 years. Last time we did this was informally in 2012, Councilor Yonley, we did that, and we did a pretty big increase back then, a pretty big jump back then. So it's due, it's time. Transportation SDCs, we ran the models based on the 2012 Transportation System Plan. And that TSP is woefully out of date. I think you're aware of that because you're implementing a new one and you're in the process of that. So it seems kind of silly to be coming up with new SDCs based on an old plan that you're going to change within a year's time, certainly. So what I would recommend you do is, soon as that transportation system plan is updated, loop back in and take a look at your SDCs. And then finally, water and sewer. We did those in 2012, but now you've got fresh master plans from 2020 and 2024. And water, you've been spending a lot of money on, and your water master plan specifically had a lot of projects to serve growth. When you see that, that means growth's gonna have to pay for that. So you'll probably see a fairly big jump in the water side, which is accounting for most of my recommended increase. And then finally, we'll talk parks and then loop back through. So I know these are in your packets. Yeah, on the screen it's a little small, but you're currently charged for a single family home $21,558 at the time of permit issuance. I'm recommending that we increase that up to $26,292. It's a fairly modest increase by standards, and you'll see that the most of the increase is accounted for in water, and that makes sense because, like we've just discussed, the water master plan had a lot of growth components to it. Streets will remain the same based on my recommendation. Parks is up about $800. So wastewater is up slightly like $500, $600, about, is that $1,000? $1,500. So what I'm going to talk about here now is the neighboring SDCs of everybody. This is really, where are you relative to your neighbors? And that's page 5 on your packets. And as you can see, right now, you're kind of at the bottom end of the range. Even with the increase, you would be at best in the middle of the range, with Silverton and Canby and Molalla ahead of you, and Aurora and Gervais behind you. Now, let's talk about water. Here is where the preponderance of the increase is, going from $4,300 to $7,700. And you'd still be in the middle of the range, the middle of the pack. There are a number of communities that already have water SDCs at $20,000 just for water. So you're in fairly good shape here. Now wastewater, something higher on the pack, but we're only doing a small increase. Malala is up there. I think you're going to see Silverton and Gervais has definitely got a problem. Aurora will be definitely raising their SDCs because they're going to be doing some substantial investments in their wastewater. And then transportation, once again, you currently charge $5,279. That is gonna remain constant until you do complete your new TSP. And that would, Sean, that'll be done next year?
Yeah, next year.
Next year. And then here is the schedule that we want to talk about, and being fussy about this because it's a statutory compliance issue. On October 15th, we made written notification to interested parties, particularly the home builders of Polk Marion County. We notified them in writing of our intention to review these SDCs and the council's potential to increase or change the fees come January. On November 15th, we had the report here posted at the city's website. We have had no comments from anyone so far. December 9th, tonight is our work session. We're not asking for any action on your guys' side. This is just an informational heads up. This is where we're heading. And then on January 13th, we're going to be in front of you with a resolution asking you to consider increasing the SDCs from the 21,000 to the 26,000. So we'll be back on January 13th, and then that'll close the loop and you'll be in statutory compliance. And you'll have your SDCs updated, which is in compliance with your municipal code. So that's it.
Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, the charges need to be updated. We are investing in wastewater, we are investing in our water systems, and we have quite a lot of parks. And we'd like to keep those updated as well. So it doesn't surprise me at all. If anything, yeah, we'll definitely have to adjust the transportation side for roads.
Oh, that's gonna be a head scratcher for everybody because in 2012, when you did the TSP back then, there was, your city is kind of unique in that the most trafficked road in your city is a road that you don't own. So.
And it's falling apart.
And it's falling apart, and it has limited access, and the person that owns, or the agency that owns that road has made a policy that they want less access to that road. So it's gonna be an interesting transportation plan for you. That ODOT is like D Street and A Street. You know, in your old plan, there was room, there was two big projects in there for additional turn lanes. ODOT doesn't want those. So this, you'll be visiting this, I guarantee you, you'll be visiting this. Thanks, everybody, I appreciate it.
But before you go though, council, any questions?
No, just calling it down, maybe you know better than I do. The Gervais.
I like how you say it. Sounds a lot better.
Gervais.
Yeah. I've had it told both ways, Jervis and Gervais.
I talked to, we had a reporter that was his last name. And he would go by Gervais, with the S silent, or
Uh-huh.
Gervais. But Gervais is what he preferred to go by. So he's from the family that, set up the land. I'm saying his name.
Interesting.
So, but I just I said, maybe you know better than I do.
No, they have a tiger by the tail. You should be feeling good about yourself in terms of you guys having an active hand in this. Because they are in a financial strait and they're gonna have to make some big decisions and it's gonna be expensive for their taxpayers.
Well, this past councils from 2008 forward have been trying to avoid the lessons learned from 2008.
Slow and easy, one step at a time and stay up with things rather than don't do anything for 10 years and all of a sudden you're in trouble. You're looking at El Capitan decline.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. We'll see you in January.
All right, let's move on then. Appointment of budget committee member. We do have one application before us. It would be for Debbie Button. She would like to be reappointed to the budget committee. Discussion on this one from the council. Councilor Zadi, any concern? No. Councilor Steiner?
No, here.
Have no concerns? Councilor Michelle?
Yeah, I thought she was great on the budget committee, reason not to keep her on.
Great. Okay, and I see this. Let's make a motion that we appoint Debbie Button to a budget committee for the term of January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2028.
I'll second that.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, she is appointed unanimously. 2028. Hard to believe that's even a date around. All right, moving on, appearances of interested citizens. We don't have no one in the room here. We have Michael online. Does he wish to speak? Keep that he's still on mute as,
I asked him if he wanted to unmute and I haven't seen
Okay.
anything yet.
we'll move right on then. Let's go on to the mayor and our council presentations. I don't have a formal presentation, but I will say I had the opportunity to attend the tree lighting ceremony. Hats off to Public Works, city staff, the volunteers, North Marion Fellowship and the fire district. They did a fantastic job. Attendance was much larger than I've seen since I've been doing this, so they did a fantastic job. Also want to, acknowledge our new superintendent for the outstanding job he's been doing with both the weather events, keeping us updated, getting signs out there for high water, et cetera. Thank you, and getting the tree taken down very quickly at Barnsley Park. So quickly that I never got one call of complaint to me saying, why aren't you guys taking a tree down? So, thank you. Those have come to pass. Outside of that, I do know we're heading into the holiday season, so I'm hoping staff will be able to take some much needed time if they have an opportunity to take rest. I don't know if I'm looking at one particular staff member, but just saying. Outside of that, I want to also acknowledge my appreciation to our city council here for the year you guys have put in. I know we started off with a lot of meetings earlier on this year, a lot of executive sessions, a lot of joint sessions. I promise you, 2026, I hope, will be a lot less heavy lifting. But everyone on here, from the notes that I get from individuals out in the city, from our own staff here, I appreciate the efforts you guys put in, your thoughtful discussions, your good questions, and the fact that you're not causing trouble. I mean, that's all win-wins to me. Thank you. Go around though, council, any other, I guess one other thing is we do have a jacket drive going on, I guess. So we have a jacket drive and the toy drive for Metcom and the angel tree, correct?
So we have the giving tree from, Bricks for North Marion, which is the toy drive.
Okay,
And then we have, it's coats and socks from Metcom 911.
okay, so that's the coats and socks. Got it. Just putting that out there in case there's anyone that listens to this broadcast afterwards, they'll know that these are down here and they can come down and grab them. Okay, with that, other counselors, Counselor Donovan.
We're just gonna say, I want to say thank you to Steve for accepting the position. And I'd like to reiterate what the mayor said. I hope everyone gets a little time off for this holiday season. Everybody in this room deserves that, way. So, thank you.
And no executive sessions between now and the end of the year. Okay. Steiniger.
I just wanted to say welcome, Steve, and thank you for the tour. It's always great to be able to come and see what our staff does, and you and Supervisor Krebs did an incredible job of showing me around and just let me see how it all works, and I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Welcome. And just for all the updates, when we had the police activity, just keeping us informed, that was super helpful, so that when people were wondering what was going on, I had answers. So I just appreciate all the information we get and how you guys keep us updated in real time. So thank you.
Counselor Donovan.
Well, my fellow councilors said that very well. I agree with it. That's all I have.
Okay, Counselor Pichelle.
No, I don't know. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the city administrator report. I will hand it over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before I get started with the financial review and my city administrator's report, I want to provide some feedback that I received at the fire department after the tree lighting ceremony. I cannot tell you how many people thanked the city for the pickleball courts. So thank you, council, for that policy decision. Our community is loving that. So
They
it's
are, I see
great.
them out there playing, so
Yeah.
it's great when you're like, wow, there's actually people out here playing this.
Yeah, it was great to get that feedback from our community. So I'll go ahead and dive into our financial update. We're 42% through the fiscal year, and revenues are on track as expected, once property taxes figured in. And November saw a large increase due to the first round of property tax being received of approximately 400,000. An additional 650 to 700,000 is expected in December, and I've checked and we've started seeing that, roll in. The ARPA, fund repaid the loan, the interfund loan that we took out at the end of last fiscal year to balance the ARPA fund, so there was a cash position increase in our general fund of $635,670. Interest earnings dipped a little bit, and that's because our pool account, our cash balance has continued to decrease because of the expenditures associated with our water project. But as stated in my city administrator's report, we have received approximately 1.3 million in reimbursements from the state. So that cash balance is going to continue to increase and our interest revenue will increase as well. Several revenue line items look a little bit lower for the month of November, but that's not because they're underperforming. It's really about a timing issue. For example, state shared revenues paid out on a quarterly basis, so there's some fluctuation from month over month on that. Court revenue was lower because we had a late October court session, which reduced citations that came, or payment that came in November. So there's a little dip there. Franchise revenue, especially PGE, increases after the calendar year closes because that's generally based off of profits. And then from the expenditure perspective, there's going to be a lot of payroll fluctuations moving forward, specifically in water, sewer, parks, and streets. The reason for that is that we are now required per the SAFE audit that we have to record where Public Works is actually working their hours. So every hour has to get entered into the payroll system in the appropriate fund. So it just depends on what the workload requires. And so there's going to be quite a bit of fluctuation. If I see an anomaly, I'll definitely share that with council, but just anticipate to see that moving forward. Additionally, general fund did transfer $219,477 into the sewer fund. As a reminder, that was the ending fund balance in the sewer bond fund, and we were required to transfer it into the general fund based on a resolution that set up the sewer bond fund. But council had made a decision and directed staff to move that money back into sewer utility fund where it initially came from. So that has been done. You'll also notice that professional services has increased significantly across kind of all funds. That's because of Mineral Springs and our city attorney providing a response back to the HOA attorney. Also, Mid-Willamette Valley COG costs and their rate increases, and then our rate studies that have been conducted by Donovan Enterprises. That one was budgeted, but you're going to see a little bit of spike in professional services. Additionally, the full budget expenditure review is going to occur. I've started it already this month. I am anticipating letting our leadership team know that we are going to be on a spending freeze. So there's just not going to be any spending that's not absolutely necessary. So when I talk about office supplies or other things, we're just not going to move forward with that. It's going to be absolutely, we have to have it. Part of the reason we are trending very high in most of our expenditure line items, so around 52%, so about 10% higher than where we should be at this time of year. So I want things to kind of settle down, see where we're at. And again, I've told council a lot of this increased spend was associated with utilities, our workers' comp, our insurance, and some of our other, the COG rates being increased that we didn't have any control over.
Okay, so on that, so I think I read in your report, you were gonna consider making that recommendation, so you've made the recommendation then to freeze.
So
Spending
it's
except for-
complete the December projections.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen beginning at Merry Christmas. No, I'll wait till after Christmas. So after the first of the year, I'll be looking at making that recommendation to staff and then reporting back to council what my anticipated projection is for how long this freeze will continue. Okay, so then for the rest of my reports, I did apply for a new infrastructure grants, with Business Oregon. I applied for $650,000 to fund the property acquisition and construction for well one. Additionally, staff is looking at trying to get more community engagement to select what movies we're gonna play for movies in the park. So I have to, secure the movie rights in February, so in our January newsletter, I'm gonna post something in there as well as online for people to submit their suggestions. Again, it's gonna have to be rated G or PG, it can't be anything over that. And so there's gonna be some guidelines about how movies can be recommended. But I'd like to get those selections in there so we don't have a traumatic incident like we did last year.
Yeah, every movie had a death in it. That's pretty.
I haven't watched that movie before.
Old Yeller and Bambi.
Right? We didn't go that dark, so that's good. I did want to bring up to council, so the mayor, the chief, and I met with, the Aurora and Donald mayors and also their, Aurora finance staff and Aurora interim city administrator, and the council president for Aurora. And the group decided on a new naming convention for the Hubbard Donald Police Department, so it's gonna be the Hubbard Donald Aurora Police Department. I wanted to make sure council supports that as we move forward in the rebranding process, and if there's any questions about that discussion and how we arrived at that, the mayor or I or chief could answer any of those questions.
And just to add on to that, we are not going to rebadge. The badges stay the same. Those are very expensive. This is just decals on the police cruisers as well as the patch on the shoulder. That way, when someone in Aurora gets pulled over, they're not wondering why Hubbard and Donald are out there giving them tickets or not giving them tickets. But it gives a sort of identity that we're there as a community to support them. Just want to throw that out there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns is what's the cost of this, since we're looking at a budget freeze or a spending freeze? And what's the cost of this renaming going to be? Is it gonna be, $1,000, $10,000? I don't know. What that's
So,
gonna cost.
Actually, the whole rebranding is going to be charged to Aurora. That's in the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we start adding another city or two in there, we're gonna have to like Hubbard area, North Marion Community Services.
Yeah, there's no more. We can't add Butteville and they don't have an organized city government.
Newbury did tell us to do it.
So no, I think we've grown to where we can provide contractual services for other cities, which is absolutely wonderful. The fact that we could realize the chance to actually have a policing service for the North Marion school community, if you would, minus Butteville, because we can't go out to that sheriff's territory.
Then also, we haven't received any applications for the planning commission positions. We have 2 open vacancies, beginning this new term, so we keep reaching out to people, but we haven't received any yet.
No, and I did hear back from one candidate that we reached out to. The individual wants to wait until late January to see how much time on a different committee she just joined is gonna take from her.
Okay,
So that's okay.
sounds good. And that is it for my administrator's report. Council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Counselor Pichette,
No question.
Counselor Young,
Not really a question, but a comment. I remember when you're talking about with Public Works and accounting for their hours. And when I first got on council, that's what they were doing, was they were having to account for those hours in the individual. And it became quite an administrative, but actually in accounting for that, it was eating up working time. And so they were, so just something to be aware of. Maybe, I don't know how I'm gonna make it easier, just to give each employee a little notebook or something to account for their time. Little check marks or start time and stops or whatever. But I remember that being an administrative difficulty,
Mhm.
and that's kind of when they went to the static hours in different departments. So just something to be aware of.
Mhm.
Counselor Steiner,
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Counselor Zide.
No question, just want to say thank you
Huh?
for everything you do.
I completely concur. Looking forward to seeing what the movie list comes out to be. And again, thank you for attending the Christmas lighting ceremony or
That's great.
holiday tree. Trying to make sure we say the right thing, but you know, at the end of the day, it was a fantastic event and it was wonderful to see the representation within the police department there. So it was great.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised.
Because there was cookies.
Mine up. Everybody behaved.
Yeah.
When there was cookies?
Yeah, a lot of cookies.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no other questions on that, let's go ahead and move on to the police department. Chief Parisi.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Great to be with you tonight. Just wanted to start off with a little update on Officer Bob's field training process. It's going really well. He just entered into phase 2 of his training, which is another 4-week phase. So phase 2 of phase 4. And I get to be with Officer Bob as well, which is phenomenal and fun for me because it takes me back to my roots of, you know, being able to train and continue to learn myself and teach folks that other great mentors taught me along the way as well and stuff. So I really enjoy that. It's a lot of fun. He's doing well. He's progressing very well. He actually, we had Salem Police Department invite us for Officer Bob to attend their week-long patrol tactics training. And it's something that Salem Police Department hosts for their new hires as well. So whenever they hire recruits, they put them through in-house training. As you can imagine, a rather much larger department. They have a whole cadre of instructors and equipment to go along with that. And it's very nice of them because of the relationships we have to open it up to us as well. And so Officer Bob did that for 40 hours for a whole week. And it really provides really great comprehensive on-hand instruction for patrol operations, officer safety, scenario-based training and tactics, decision-making skills, and all that good stuff too. So it's going to really help supplement his field training process as well and reinforce the foundational skills that he'll need to be successful and become a solo officer. So I just like to say I'm very grateful and publicly thank Chief Womack at Salem Police Department and his staff for the partnership and collaboration that they've shown us in extending that invitation and whatnot. I think it's opportunities like that that really strengthen our regional relationships as well and enhance the overall quality of our training that officers can receive and stuff. So that's really huge. Our 7th position is still moving forward in background. We had a couple community events, and I'd like to just move right into a couple updates regarding some investigations that had, one of which has been going on for quite some time, involving a graffiti case, and the investigation actually was being conducted by our very own Officer Montez. And I asked him to join us here this evening, and just really want to publicly thank him as well for the ongoing consistent effort that Officer Montez put into this and successfully identified the person who we believe more likely than not. So we had more than enough probable cause to be the one that's responsible for multiple incidents of tagging throughout the Hubbard community and whatnot. So this case was a persistent challenge. And I just want to, again, acknowledge Officer Montez for his dedication and follow through and bringing it to a successful resolution. Roger, you did a great job, and we're lucky to have you, so thank you. But his
Jump onto
attention,
that real quick.
yes, please,
Agency cooperation with, the other agency as well.
yes,
You know, it's not just in the city, you work with another agency, we're able to put two and two together and identify the individual. So,
yeah.
yes, fantastic, and I'm sure Counselor Yonley will be happy not to report to us anymore where the latest actions are happening.
Well, they did seem to calm down recently, so that's either through your efforts and or just it's raining and cold out there. Yeah.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Chief.
No, that was very appropriate, perfect timing, and just wanted to thank Officer Montes to his attention to detail. You know, this investigation, there's a couple different partners that really helped solve this, and it also started with North Marion School District. It led to a school over in McMinnville as well, and Officer Montez's follow through and bringing that to a resolution was just really, really awesome. Great job, Roger. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. Also the update too, just on the shooting we had in November on the 11th over in Donald. Again, Officer Montes was very much involved in helping to bring that case to a resolution as well, a peaceful resolution, which was outstanding. And Roger just talked to the DA's office, was it yesterday?
Yes.
And she was filing charges this morning, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so they're moving forward with criminal charges for that. That was a really scary case, if you will, on many different facets. So, but great team effort. Like I said, Officer Montes and Sergeant Anderson were very, very instrumental in bringing that to a peaceful resolution. So, also, I just want to highlight some department training that occurred here recently, again, with Officer Montes stepping up and really putting forth even just that much more effort into our agency and our team. He volunteered to become a TASER instructor and also a defensive tactics instructor, and went and got certified successfully in both those trainings, which is going to pay huge dividends for our agency, as it will allow us to really conduct these very important trainings internally. There's some requirements through the state, DPSST, and we won't have to necessarily rely on other agencies to accomplish those, and we'll be able to do those in-house and hopefully save money as well for like travel and overtime and things of that nature too. So yeah, he did a great job, successfully passed both those trainings, and I just really appreciate him stepping up to take on more as well, since we are a small department. We really, many hands make light work, and we couldn't do it without you, Roger, and I just want to thank you for that publicly as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as the updates go, this was really exciting and fun also. We had we try to meet once a month as a department, as a team, on our overlap day, which is Wednesdays. And so all 6 of us get together and all that good stuff. And, we're a relatively new team within the last year and stuff, although very, very stable, I would say too. And so we all wanted to get together and kind of develop a new mission, vision, and value statement as well. So as a team, everybody was empowered to come up with ideas and suggestions, and we ended up hashing that out during our meeting and whatnot. So we're really excited about that, and we provided a copy of that for you in your report. And it was really a huge team effort also as well. So we're really excited about that too. So
My comments is, I think it's absolutely fantastic how you're continuing to look for training opportunities for your officers, whether it's patrol tactics with Officer Bob. What about Bob? Always gonna be or Montez, I mean, those opportunities grow the skill level within the department. You're able to then cross-train and individuals come back, which will elevate everyone up. Fantastic. Glad to hear you guys are doing, actually getting everyone together for on Wednesday, like a team meeting, if you would. What a great opportunity to have a face-to-face opportunity to debrief on how things are going, things to change, etc. And I truly like the mission, vision, and values that you guys put together. I did read that, and I was looking in there to make sure it kind of aligned with what I would believe too, and I think you guys got that. So well done, especially around integrity. I tell people over and over again, that's one thing you've got, and if you lose your integrity, you don't get it back. So our department, you guys operate with outstanding integrity within the community. We see it every day from the residents that come back and talk to us. or whether we have cities coming to ask for our services as well. And that wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for that, so thank you. That's all I've got. We'll go this way this time. Councilor Michelle?
Just to sort of piggyback on what the mayor said, you know, I've heard from several people throughout the community that they're very happy with the service that our police department provides. You guys have built a great reputation under your leadership. And so I want to thank you guys for that. Congratulations to both of you, Officer Montez and Sergeant Anderson's not here, on, you know, resolving those two cases that we know were fairly large problems. So I think that's great, and you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
That's Young?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
No problem. Ready?
I just want to say thank you for taking on the extra responsibility. Once you become an instructor, a lot of it lies on you, and being willing to volunteer somewhat into that role, I really appreciate that. And just for the whole police department, thank you for all that you guys are doing. And it's great to have you all here.
All right, Councilor Zai?
Yeah, I've noticed in the news, been what I would call an unusual amount of shootings in the area. I've never seen this many in 9 years I've been in Marion County. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for keeping us safe. I want to thank you, Officer Montos, for not only getting the graffiti thing, because I'm gonna be honest, it's just a bummer constantly. So that's great, but I also want to thank you for putting the extra effort in and becoming a trainer and helping to move things forward. It's a big help, big help. Again, Chief Creasy's example as a leader is just incredible. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, all department.
The only thing I want to add on to as well is, I think we talked about it maybe slightly in our executive session, but again, you're handling with the multiple agencies that were here 2 Sundays ago with the standoff at the, I'm not sure what you would call that lot, but the lot. You guys are able to get someone extracted safely, even if it was, not, against their will or whatever it might be. But you did so, you got him out, and hopefully he'll get the help he needs. So thank you. Even though, damn, it was hours and hours.
Yes, I'm telling you on that, you guys did an excellent job. You did.
I was expecting a lot more comments coming back from the community, and it was very quiet after the fact. So I was really expecting the next day to be inundated with questions.
Thank
So,
you.
well done. Okay, if there's no other questions for the police department, we'll move on to Public Works Department with our new superintendent, Mark Tieneko. Next close.
Of course. I'll start with the fact that it's been raining out there. Of course, for Public Works.
He's very observant.
I will tell you that the app that gets most used on my phone is AccuWeather. That's the one that I use, and we're all tuned to it. The weather is probably the most heavily used predictor of our workload in terms of reactive workload. So right now, we're actually, the lift station has a piece of equipment that measures the depth. It's not ultrasonic, what the remote is. This one uses something similar that your washing machine uses to determine the level. It's a tube and it measures the pressure. Okay, and it uses aquarium pumps.
Aquarium pumps.
Aquarium pumps.
Hopefully industrial aquarium pumps.
One appears to be something my daughter uses in her aquarium. So we actually went to Lancaster. That's smart. And we have so right now we. Something I told you that each day I learned something a little bit different, a little bit new. And so this was a new one. Staff have been down there for most of the afternoon, and I'm gonna go back and check on them. Hopefully they've got it settled for the evening so we can look at perhaps a better system in the morning. And I'm sure the differential pressure transducer has quit, so. Mike did get it going with a swift kick. I'll just tell you that. That was great work. So maybe that will hold for the evening. We are also, in addition to the signs around town, we're also taking advantage of the fact that with lots of water, as unfortunate as it is, some of it I'm aware about, pipes that go from 16-inch, like on Castile, to 8-inch. You're not gonna win with, getting 16-inch diameter pipe, drained fully through an 8-inch pipe. However, there's other areas around the town that have no storm drainage, and staff have been aware of it, but I am now logging that. This comes in handy when you're trying to do SCA, small community, block allotment grants, and that type of thing. For instance, if I put one up by the mayor's house today, it's just, it's a lake.
The F Street Lake, yeah.
Yeah, the F Street Lake. Plus F Street's not in great condition. Some of those streets aren't, but that would be a great block, for instance. Because those grants now, although they're $250,000, as opposed to 100,000, they now don't just give them away anymore. You have to show that there's a safety, there's something going on that this grant is going to really help make better. So I'm making a log of that, of all those streets, but during bad and inclement weather, that's when you start seeing and the real bad conditions. And I know all of you are well aware. I'm now making my inventory and saying, wow, this isn't right. So that started today as well. We are beginning, I will beginning what we call stand-up meetings in the morning. So at 8:30, when staff get an opportunity to get things like restrooms and the morning checks on the plants done, we'll all meet at 8:30 to pass on the information that helps establish the cadence that's necessary so that we're working together and with the same level of information. Also, and these are little additions to my report. I did finally escalate through the T-Mobile system to the right individual, the operations supervisor, who assured me that the star will be lit this week, hopefully tomorrow. So
Yeah, Mr. White mentioned that to me, that they were waiting for inclemental weather to be calming down. So they're gonna go up there now when the wind's higher and. the
Yeah,
rain's
yeah,
gonna
they'll
hit.
go up with, so tomorrow I think is the day that they're gonna send probably the newest technician they have up they apologize profusely to the city, but I did mention to them that there's a lot of folks that are waiting for it, and it may not seem as important, but it is to Hubbard. And, it's also in your lease agreement too, so.
No one's mentioned it to me yet, but I'm assuming it's a day away.
Yes, I'm anxious to see the star. I saw it years ago, and you could see it from miles coming at 99.
But I will say, thank you for getting the Third Street decorations up without us even asking.
Yeah.
That this showed up. I know 2 of them are off for whatever reason.
We're trying to figure out why the outlets aren't working. That may be an electrician, but I need to go out there. That's on my tomorrow's activity, is to look at where the control box is for that. So we'll see if we get those outlets.
But outside of that, it was fantastic to see that lit up. I think it was a couple weeks ago, you guys actually had that up.
Yeah,
right around
that was
Thanksgiving.
high on staff's priorities, is to get all this done, get the banners up. They kind of knew what the cadence of that was supposed to be, so
You set at the higher level.
I
well done.
appreciate it. I told them I appreciate
And
it.
hopefully they'll be down before, what was it? I think one year they were up there until Valentine's Day almost.
Oh.
That's the year that they all got redone the next year because the windstorms came through. and ripped all
Windstorms and the
stuff
ice
off
comes
them
and. So on our projects, the Rivinus Park, playground equipment is, I think, down, except for some of what you see in the ground right now will just simply be pulled up. It's not worth saving. But everything else, staff chipped off the concrete and gave it to the Zion church. So they have it.
I'm glad that worked out.
It worked, and they came and grabbed it, and it's out of our way, and we'll probably need to rent a Bobcat with a track. Our equipment's way too heavy for that. It just sinks down to nothing. But we don't expect the playground, they'll be ready to actually install until just after the first of the year, so it'll still work out.
How deep is it once you take all that material?
It goes down a good 18 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty darn deep.
It is deep. And
Yeah, I
they
was
also-
surprised when you guys were digging that thing. I was like, wow, okay.
It is, and not only that, but they put rock and drain piping down there and everything. It's like, they did a great job.
Well, it's lasted for 20+ years, so
They,
yeah.
they did a great job, so I was impressed. There's a lot of work went down underground with that. Water system, the OHA, as I mentioned, did approve it. City Administrator Wade and I have weekly conversations. We are a little surprised that the bids aren't entirely ready to go out yet. We thought that they would be. They did take into account what they're telling us is that we asked them to not do certain things with this money at this point. One of them, for instance, is well 1A. We would do that separately. So City Administrator Wade is finding those funds separate from this original project guidelines. The other one was to put one of the filters, big filter units in, but don't charge it, don't commission it. Wait for new construction, i.e. Bear Creek or somebody come along and use the SDCs, because that's really what it was there for. And then there's the roof construction up there. When they put the two buildings together, it wasn't connected correctly on the top. So part of that repair, but we also said, is there a better way of doing it than just ripping everything apart? So those will be completed as part of a separate addendum. What we're doing is called value engineering or cost savings in that, so that the project can move ahead better on time and on budget, because that's critical for that. But both City Administrator Wade and I have been in constant conversation with this. I think it'd be fair to say that we're a bit concerned with Civil West Engineering at this point. We felt very strongly that they should have had those bids ready to go. They did say last month that they would have them. They did not, and now we're waiting not for bids, but for an addendum to the contract. And we should have been disclosed that last month, that was going to happen. So we will keep on them at this point. I'm not concerned that it won't get done, but I am concerned about all the different aspects of this project that don't appear to be as well coordinated as they should be. It's not that what we're doing is engineered, but it's not that difficult. So we will see as this goes along. Talked about the new well, the Mylar. City Administrator Wade needs another medal just for getting this Mylar approved. It's been amazing.
And using the right pen.
I had used the right pen.
And the right. Yeah.
As soon as that is officially recorded and we get it back, I did find that we had gone to our city attorney and we do have a sales agreement, purchase sales agreement already to go, so that we can expedite with the owner the sale and get that completed. Also, I've been working with the Polymax, and the documents for the easement is a perpetual easement. The last one was a 10-year agreement, which went away. We never did anything with it for a long time until Polymax took over. Right now, I think what I agree, what they asked me to do was include, if we're back there doing maintenance, like mowing along our homes, we can mow along their side of the fence too back there. I said, sure. And he just signed perpetual, we'll take care of it. It's yours, we'll share. They want to put gates up. That's not a problem. We'll share the key for that one piece. So that's in the works. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. Civil West on the wastewater side is still working on their preliminary plans. We're a little bit more on schedule with this one. I am going to be, I think the appropriate term would be squinty-eyed when they come back with this. I would like the wastewater system to be, they need to put clarifiers and need to do what they need to do. But those of you who have counselors who have seen the plant know that there's a lot of valves. It's very manual right now. There's very little up in our screens that tell us what is actually going on. It's staff have to keep it in their heads. Part of it is automated, some of it isn't. And that all needs to come together. So the critical piece, I'll be meeting with the automation group TAG. They're the automation integrators of record for this project. I'm going to be reviewing everything that they've been asked to do. Simply because I've had Civil West and 2 public works staff involved at various times with this, and I'm not sure that we're all on the same page based upon what I've seen and heard. That way, that'll prevent these additional addendums to the contract as we move along. So that's rather important. I do know that the Union, and now I'm shifting to the Union Pacific land sale. That paperwork had to be submitted to Omaha, Nebraska, not just emailed to the manager. Emailing to the manager apparently is equivalent of, here's kind of an idea of what we're doing. And they'll just put it aside waiting for Omaha to get back and say, here it is, and wait for our $3,000 check. Because they won't touch it until we give them $3,000. So.
It's a railroad.
Going right.
And the thing is they don't tell you that. It's like, oh, here's your manager, you have these email conversations, and it's like, I've given this to you. No, you haven't, because it hasn't come through their office in Omaha. So we did send it certified, they have it, they're reviewing it. We should get some information back this month. As to, please send us a check and we'll proceed with reviewing it. We offered $50,000 for it, which is their minimum. That's another thing, it changed from March to now. They do, regardless of the appraisal price, if it's under 50,000, it's 50,000, or the best fair market price. The best price for that was between $39,000 and $49,000. So 50,000 is about right where it was appraised at by our appraiser.
And just real quick, so the funding for this purchase is coming through from Senate Bill 1530. So part of the Senate bill included the acquisition of property for the lift station. So this is part of grant funds through legislative appropriation.
So hopefully that will go well, and we
No
have
pun
a
intended.
first piece of dewatering, go ahead.
That's no pun intended on
Oh,
well.
yeah. Well, yeah, right. The dewatering equipment, which is really at this point, I think, probably the most critical thing we're looking at. This is what takes that sludge that we talked about down there and removes it from our system. So we can give it to Republic Services and get it out of here, because right now, we have quite a bit of backup in our system that's causing a lot of extra work to move it all around, what we call decanting, or moving it around from all the different basins we have. And of course, the more you do that, the more if someone forgets a valve, that's why, DEQ will have an issue with us.
Well, I can say this, with all the heavy rain we've had, I haven't heard of any reports of a spillage or an overflow or anything else. So you guys are doing something right down there.
Last on Sunday, it was one going down there, making sure that the leaves were out of the screen. Because if he hadn't have done that, it would have been an overflow.
Well, thank you for
So there we
the
go.
preventative checks.
We're all thinking about these things, so that's great. This new piece of equipment apparently will be here. It's in the States on the 9th and available, I think, for bringing it over here on the 19th. So, and that'll be commissioned in January timeframe. But this will be very helpful for us. It'll be another process, but it is one that we haven't had now for 18 months. And so it'll be good to have it online and helping process, because that's going to help stabilize our wastewater system. Otherwise, moving along, we have G99. I've put a permit in to patch the hole there at G Street in 99. That is an ODOT thing, but of course ODOT will not. They have to replace, as you well know, 99. I mean, you go into the middle of the street and it's completely decomposed into gravel at that point. So they're gonna allow us to cold patch it. Of course, the rules are once they allow us to cold patch it, we have to maintain it for a minimum of 2 years.
which is still more than they're doing.
It's true, I figure,
I'm okay with that.
at this point.
It's really bad right now.
It is, it is. City Hall
We got
Foundation
left out of
repair,
out of the topping here. So, it was a few years back, they, put asphalt topping down to just this side of, when, for 551 takes off. And started just this side of,
Yeah.
the corrections facility. And put the coating down there, put the coating up there, but just somehow skipped Hubbard. And this is the result of that.
Right.
Yeah, just the streets are bad.
yeah, it is completely, that road, their condition codes, I mean, it's replaced. There is no patching 99 in Hubbard. It is a complete replacement of that road surface, that isn't right. I mean, I don't understand why they would, well, I do understand, but
Well, we will get a portion resurfaced when the illuminated crosswalk goes in.
there we go, we're
They're
gonna,
gonna.
That
do
will,
that.
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, on the other side.
we accepted, First Foundations First, out of, Lake Oswego to do our foundation. Part of that was when they first came into, talk with, City Administrator Waite and Chief Parisi came in and said, well, Hulk, I can help you with that, because they had offered, we'll reduce 50% of the chief would come give them some safety training. So we're working on a schedule for that, and then they will come underneath and put nice jacks, and the floors will stop sagging, and now the police can have more police officers in there with more gear on, and without going to the floor. This is, I think it's a
More
win-win.
tree.
That's
More tree than the table. I mean,
Great idea, I mean, just thinking outside the box.
Yes,
You
right.
know, not just, dollars and cents for bargaining and negotiations, et cetera. So, no, that's great. I read that, I thought that was fantastic.
I solicited some informal bids from 3 folks to do our doors here, replace the doors. So I'm just waiting for one more, and then we'll move ahead with that. And for the first time in a long time, we've actually got all of our generators professionally serviced.
Perfect.
And we have the diesel truck that was of the emergency equipment. We have 500 gallons delivered in place now. So I think a lot better off than we were last year, and hopefully, and we also looked at another diesel supplier as well. So we have 2 diesel suppliers. You never know when the ice hits where you can find things.
In 2021, or, yeah, I mean, we were out of power for 5-6 days.
Yeah,
So-
and so right now, we believe we have about 6 days worth of fuel. It took 5 days to get fuel last time, and a lot of that came from farmers and other
Right.
individuals.
Donated to, or not donated, but.
Donated.
Yeah.
Our large public works truck also has a 100-gallon tank now installed in it. So which makes it easier for us to get around to find other sources to bring it in. So I think we're much better prepared than we were last year,
It's great to hear,
based on what I know.
especially as we start to enter the more interesting parts of the winter months.
The last part of this is what we alluded to or talked about, which is part of the preventive maintenance system. And what I did was give you some examples in here of what this system looks like. It really is a system. It's not just preventive maintenance. I did model it after the United States Navy, United States Coast Guard systems.
Thought that looked familiar.
Yeah, there you go. They are
Maybe there.
very much modeled after that, and then structured into a system. And the system is what will roll out over 12 months, along with the PMS pieces. What is going to happen is, over this time, you're going to see some changes. One of them is that as staff start doing preventive maintenance, I will be giving them protected time to do that. What that also means is, right now, and I think most public works departments model this, is we basically sit around and wait for the phone to ring. Okay, because that, when you see us respond immediately to things, that's positive feedback, because we always get thanked for that. You don't get thanked for the things that you don't see. And I know this well for 20 years in IT. where you do a huge amount of work and no one sees it because everything runs. It's only when things don't run, and then you, Johnny on the spot, you run up there and tippity tap and you fix it. And so it's like, wow, you guys are great. You do a fantastic job. Not realizing that our goal is for us never to have to do that in the first place.
Mhm.
But people want to be thanked. They want to be recognized. They want to have those. So this will be the challenge, is to help folks move into a preventive maintenance status where they are working continuously on this. At the same time, saying things like locates, which are 48 hours, say, we're not gonna do them this minute. Maybe we'll do it within the next 12 hours, or within the next 24, or by the next one, schedule it. So that some things that are done instantly, if we can schedule it, take care of it. At the same time, recognizing that emergencies happen, and those who do have to drop what we're doing and go take care of it. I mean, that's just the nature of thing. But for staff who are looking for the instantaneous reaction, we're gonna hold that back and start putting more things in of checking motors, changing oil, checking bearings, checking fan belts, checking differential pressure tubes. All those different things that need to be done, so that when it's raining nasty and all that, like right now, we're not out sitting all night out in the middle of the rain.
Mhm.
That's the benefit to the city. It will take about a year for this to roll out. It's not a quick change. It's not just quick because of what we're doing, but also it's a culture change as well. And we want to make sure the staff believe that what they're doing is recognized, it's important, that it's saving us time that we can be doing other things that are better for the town, and that they're still welcomed to, well, I want to say this. I was trying to use the word cherished, but that's not exactly what you think of in public works, folks. But you are still valued.
Values the right word there.
You're still valued as an employee, and that your performance is exactly where the town wants it to be.
Mhm.
So that's the outcome of the system, is that value and the value add give back.
Yeah, it's a big change to go from a reactive to a proactive
It
stance.
is.
And on top of that, you are absolutely 100% correct. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. The firefighters are constantly the ones getting recognition and rewards, not the person that's preventing the fires to begin with.
Right.
And that's the behavioral change we need to do, and maybe finding a way to value that proactive approach to prove that you've avoided those type of reactions and recognize that behavior would be a good change. I mean, it's a difficult way to do it, because you're right, everyone, pat on the back for the guy that jumps in the middle of everything and fixes it. And they don't ask the question, well, why did it happen in the first place, that we even had to have this kind of
Exactly.
situation?
Yeah. Well, in the service, it was great because we basically you flew what you fixed. So
You better
you did a good job.
do
But by the same token, you did a huge amount of work behind the scenes, but then you got to go out and fly the missions. So you got both at the same time. In IT for 20 years, I learned, and on my own business, it's just the opposite. If on your own business, you got rewarded by more business. In an IT department, it's just that way. So you have to come up with different ways of rewarding people and making sure that folks understand the value that you're providing to the organization.
Well, I appreciate starting that effort, and yes, it will be a long road. But I think within this time next year, when you look at the end year in review, I think that the dividends will be obvious at that point in time.
Thank you, and your reports will see the preventive maintenance that's being done and what the effects of those will be,
Yep.
rather than how many fires we put out.
I'm assuming we'll see that even come budget time, when you guys aren't asking for new mowers every year or whatever it might be.
Right, and so that's what you'll be seeing in our budget. You'll be seeing more supplies to do those kind of things.
Questions for our new superintendent, Counselor Pichelle?
No questions, but I appreciate your report. It's very thorough.
So thank you for confirming once again that we made the right choice.
You're welcome.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Counselor Yama?
Just to continue follow up on this, new operations plan you put together here. I spoke with the two of the three predecessors you had about something similar to this, and, you know, you got your SOPs, and you got your, you know, your list of what you gotta do, and then we had to sign off, as well. And although you might not do it, you need to know how to do it, by signing off. I'm sure the police department has very similar type of things where you're not out there actively, dealing with a weapons, guns thing, but everybody needs to know how to do that. So very similar application in other working environments. And so, yeah, this looks good, and I see it's a much larger than just preventive maintenance here. It is a big system. I do like that, so.
Multiple volumes too.
Yeah, yes, yeah, so, that's all I have. Thank you.
Counselor Steiner?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate how thorough it is. I appreciate your insights and your plan. And the fact that you began all of this as an interim and like you definitely stepped into the role like it mattered and took it on as a real responsibility. And I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm glad that we were able to quickly turn you into a permanent employee.
Well, thank you. We will move forward.
Counselor Zadi?
Question for you, and you have to provide the answer tonight, but I know we've had some problems in the past with the sewage being too warm. I was curious to know what is too warm and what are we normally at? Might have an idea.
Yeah, 18 degrees centigrade seems to be the number that the DEQ wants us to be at. And that's what they determined that Mill Creek is at, and it should be. And apparently by us putting things in there, we move it up 5 degrees, up to 23 degrees C. And this is summertime. This is the averages that they measure during the summertime when the Mill Creek really does not have any flow. So we have asked them about this, and they seem very firm on not reviewing it any more than that, but we have pushed back, apparently have pushed back a little bit on it, because we don't believe that what they're asking us to do in the summertime for these is really realistic. Because Mill Creek basically doesn't go anywhere. But that's the gist of it. It's a 5 degree differential,
But
5 degrees Celsius differential.
And then, real quick on that, your deal with the valuing those employees, I was wondering, have you tried maybe like a longevity award? So they're not their employment, but the equipment. So I've worked in places where we like keep a land-based generator running for years if we can. And you get bonuses every year if it never has to shut down, if we can maintain it while it's still running. Hospitals do that, a lot of places do that.
That's a great idea, and I think City Administrator Wade and I have talked about, rather than give bonuses for an additional certificate.
Yeah.
As we move to preventive maintenance, how much have you saved the city for putting this online and maintaining it?
Yep.
So then you get recognized and you get something tangible for it. That's a great idea.
That'll be over good. And I just wanted to end with thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much, thank you.
I got it.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Just kind of as a follow-up on your sewage discharge question, the temperature on that. I don't remember I guess 18 degrees centigrade is
That's
the number.
70 double it.
So, I think it kind of goes back to, to salmon spawning, and I understand I've never, and I don't know if they've ever seen salmon swimming at Mill Creek, but in aggregate, all these little towns doing this discharge into the system, and so it's an aggregate overall, the state of Oregon. And it has other salmon and other fisheries and the temperature of the water. So that's
Right.
where that comes from.
And it goes, ours goes in the pudding goes in the Malala, and now you've got a major, spawning stream.
And you've got, 100 little towns out here discharging into that, so I think.
Have you ever looked at how nasty Pudding River is? I mean, it's brown. It's brown.
It's not.
And kind of along the lines of Union Pacific, hopefully this moves a lot faster, but we spent over 20 years trying to put a crosswalk down here, a paved crosswalk across the main line. I mean, over 20 years, we worked on that, finally we pulled together last year.
After we ran the sidewalk up as far as we could and then waited.
Stopped and waited for them to give
I
approval.
think that still took another 2 years to finally get it the rest of the way over. It was ridiculous.
Yes, it was over 20 years in process, and we worked on that. It happened actually before I got on council. And then I'm just curiosity, did we install the new generators down there already? Or are we still using the old World War II backup generators down there for that?
The generators that I have seen that are in place and we're using are all new generators.
So we had a grant not too long ago.
Yeah,
I
I just wanted to make sure we got, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
don't think I've seen any World War II ones. I mean, it sounds
Well,
like
they
there
were
could be one down there.
But they're all modern with computerized, unfortunately, computerized systems. So the motors don't break anymore, it's the computer that
It's
breaks.
circuit board in there.
Yeah.
But you're from IT, so you
I
should
know,
know.
so I had down there. Well, the one back on, behind, one right here, it's supposed to come on once a week and run. And they're all supposed to come on for about 10 or 15 minutes. Well, this one wasn't because it had been programmed or something was wrong with the programming. So I had the guy come out and apparently they had replaced the board but never programmed it. And so this time they programmed it. So now it's coming on once a week and doing its tests, but that's what happens. The generator works great, except when the power goes out, you really do need it to come back on. Then someone has to come down before manually. Now it does come on automatically, so.
It's phenomenal what they got. All right, any other questions before we close out for superintendent? Okay, thank you for your report, very detailed. Looking forward to future months to come.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to consent agenda. I will read approval of city council minutes, October 14th, 2025 city council, October 28th, 2025 special city council meeting, November 12th, 2025 city council minutes. B, approval of the check register report, October 2025, and 2, November 2025. Next, C, resolution 835-2025, a resolution amending resolution number 832-2025 and number 833-2025. Love to get a place to see if anyone can tell exactly what those are, but that's what. Appoint city administrator Sean Waite as budget officer. Approval of the 2026-2027 budget calendar. That is a correction from what you have listed on your page. And F, approve the plan of action related to the deficiency in the fiscal year 2025 audit and authorize the mayor and city administrator Waite to sign the plan.
I make a motion, we approve it as read.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a second. We have a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, consent agenda passes unanimously. Next one is, well, actually, it should be on here, but is there any other city business from the city council? Or from city staff that we don't need to discuss?
I'm just thrilled with my leadership team, so.
You have a
Thank you.
fantastic leadership team, truly do. I will second that for sure. Okay, I would like to make a motion for adjournment.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.